Welcome back to the Turn on the Music podcast. My name is Kyle. This is episode 22. We're doing another artist this week. We've got Snarky Puppy. And to discuss them, we've got CJ. How are you, sir?
Good. Snarky Puppy.
Snarky Puppy.
I really, when you text me, I really didn't think that was the name of the group. I really thought you were being, why are you calling me a Snarky Puppy?
Nope. That's the name of the group for the evening. Snarky Puppy.
That's too funny.
So, how's your week going?
So.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, oh, boy, it is.
It's your turn this week.
No. We came in on, got to work on Monday, and our building flooded.
Oh.
There's water everywhere. And then, so when we got in there was just blowers everywhere. They're on. It was bad. And it's been that way for the past 3 days because they need it to dry out, and it's not drying out. Mm-hmm. So it's just been one of those. It's starting to smell a little in there because, there's only so much you're going to be able to dry out.
Right.
So outside of that, not bad. I took off Friday and Monday, so I gave myself a long weekend.
Cool.
On purpose, that I know that there's another long weekend next week.
Yeah, that's good.
So, but I think that's the worst of it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we got 4 inches of water in our basement.
Ugh.
But, I mean, we weren't the only ones. A lot of people in the area were dealing with it. So, could have been worse. Could have been... Did you? I don't know if you catch anything from over here, but did you see anything about Stony Brook?
No.
So, do you remember Stony Brook Village at all?
Yeah.
Okay. You know the Avalon Park's over there with the pond?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That road that crosses through, Harbor Road, collapsed.
Mm-hmm. Really?
And all the pond water, so it was a dam, all the pond water and everything rushed out. There's no more pond water. The animals are all displaced. There's a building that they said right now is okay, but they're concerned it could go, know. And then Blydenburg Park in Smithtown is gone. That pond is all completely marsh. They lost all their water. It's just some areas that really got hit bad. So they're working desperately in Stony Brook to rebuild and to make sure everything's safe, especially the fact that a lot of the animals are just, there are birds and stuff flying back to the pond, but there's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow, it's crazy.
It is crazy. And I know there's worse out there, but it was, for us that hits.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So that's that right now.
Cool.
How about yourself?
I mean, work is work. I feel better than I've been feeling.
Good.
I've gotten that new server, and that seems to be taking my mind off of things.
Good.
So, and it's going well. I mean, I've built a lot of stuff in it. Moved some of my services over already, and we got more to go, but it seems to be at least distracting my brain for a while, which is good. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, it's doing its job, and it's also doing its job by doing its job. So,
for what I built it for.
Yeah. So last night was a scary night, but we got it fixed. I run Unify equipment here. And in order to get that stuff up and running, I have to run this thing called Unify Controller. And you don't need the Unify Controller to run the stuff. After you set the stuff up, it'll just go. So I haven't run the actual controller software in about 2 years. So I decided that since I'm building everything, I might as well build that software into it. So I built it in, and then I had to adopt all of the new equipment, which is my access point and my switch. And it wouldn't adopt, which meant I had no internet at all last night. I had no Wi-Fi. I had nothing.
Oh, wow.
I had to bypass my switch to figure out what was wrong with it and then find the fix. And then the fix was stupid easy, but I mean, not having internet, kind of freaks you out for a little while when you're trying to fix something. So,
Right. Makes sense.
But yeah, it's all fixed and it's good to go. And
that's good.
The next step is I'm building a router inside the server, which is going to be different and fun. So
Like a
That's the
wireless
plan for the
router?
No, just a regular firewall router.
Oh, okay.
Because my access point is going to be my wireless.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So
much fun.
Yeah.
Have you listened, besides Snarky Puppy, which I'm sure we'll hear how you've come across them, have you listened to anything else?
No.
No.
In fact, I haven't really listened to Snarky Puppy, which is part of the reason for the episode.
Oh, nice.
So.
I have been. My son's been playing a lot of Aretha Franklin and Whitney Houston lately. And he loves Aretha Franklin. I came across a singer, which I don't know if we really can play the music on the podcast. A lot of it is explicit, but I'm going to give you a little. I'm going to read off of Apple Music's description of her. Bessie Jackson was a pseudonym of Lucille Bogan, a classic female blues artist from the 20s and the 30s. Her outspoken lyrics deal with sexuality in a manner that manages to raise eyebrows even within a genre that is about as nasty as a recorded music ever got prior to the emergence of artists such as Two Live Crew or Ludacris.
Sorry.
Why are you playing Divinity Rocks?
Because her album just came. Oh, she has an album coming out, and I was trying to figure out what the date of the album was.
So basically, if you listen to her music, which is from like the 20s and the 30s and whatnot, but the lyrics are like, they're dirty.
Is that the one that you sent me a couple weeks ago?
It's similar to that, yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's other artists, but this was, I think this, but I'm just like, that's hysterical because we don't think back then that they were doing this, but they were.
Right. Yeah.
It's just, so, I mean, I love it. So, I haven't listened to any of them yet, but I want to just because she was born April 1st, 1897. Hey, she's still alive?
No, she can't be still alive. She'd be 130.
I know. That's what I was like. There's no date of when she passed. That's what I was like. What? No, I know. I'm sure she died. Yeah. But just the idea is it's hysterical. And there's a lot of artists that did this. So it was just interesting. I think it's cool to like see that or hear that because you don't think that people were singing about those things. Yeah, they were singing about cocaine because that was going on around that time and it was normal to have it. They were singing about, things like that, but like not the sexuality about.
I bet she wasn't singing about cocaine.
Huh?
She probably wasn't singing about cocaine because she don't like cocaine.
What are you talking about?
Eric Clapton song? I even did the lyric twice.
I wasn't thinking that way. That's too funny. Okay, never mind. Okay, fair enough. So Divinity Rocks has a new album coming out?
Yeah, it's another kids album.
Is it the Worldwide Playdate?
Worldwide Playdate. I haven't listened to it yet, but it came out August 8th. So that was, 3 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. Something like that, 2 weeks ago? So.
I love that she does kids albums.
Yeah.
Do you have a song up that you can play?
Yeah, we'll play Worldwide Playdate. Why not? Once I get my mouse back on the right computer.
It's Worldwide Playdate. Welcome to the Worldwide Playdate. Welcome to the Worldwide Playdate. The date, the playdate, the date, the playdate exclusive. It's a playdate, everybody jump in. Hey, go get your friends. Jump in. It's a worldwide playdate. What you wanna do? I wanna play. Calling up my friends to make a playdate. Best day ever. I just wanna say, I hope it never ends. Can we do this every day? See, this little divvy got it started. This little divvy stay home. This little divvy got on the dance floor and she danced all night long. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Show them how you do it in your divvy world. Get it, girl. Get it, girl. Dance all night long. Do your dance. Do it. Everybody is invited. Today is a worldwide playdate. It's a worldwide playdate. It's a playdate. Everybody jump in. Hey, go get your friends. Jump in.
I love
really
it.
Cool.
It's so good. She's so good.
She's so good, and she's talk about being all over the place. Like listen to her old solo stuff, how like edgy and gritty it was, and then going to Beyonce, and then going to children's album, like 2 of them. It's very strange, but she does it really well.
It's just, she's, and it's funny because I was looking at the listeners and I just wanted to see what they put down as a bio because, they break down a little bit what she's did, that she was with Beyonce from 2006 to 2011 and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have a lot of followers. She doesn't have a lot of monthly listeners, but Brazil, Australia, Turkey, and then Los Angeles. Mm. So she's definitely being listened to, and I think it goes back to that whole thing where what people, overseas, they like guitars, mm-hmm. they like bass, they like that.
And there's a lot of really crazy bass players in Brazil right now.
Are there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's cool. Divinity Walker Rocks. That's her name.
Yep.
That's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to hear her with Snarky Puppy.
That would be cool.
That
would be very cool.
So how'd you find Snarky Puppy?
I have heard about Snarky Puppy probably since they started in like early 2000s, but I've never listened to them, and they've always been like on the list of bands to listen to, and I never got to them. I've listened to a couple songs here and there, but never really like explored them. So it made me start thinking, like, when you find a new group, how do you explore them? Like, what do you do to start listening to a group that you've never listened to before?
It depends, because if it's digital, right, I may like look through the list of songs and like kind of pick a random one off the album and see and listen
mm-hmm.
to it. But in most cases, I will listen to the whole album. I'll start from track one.
How do you pick an album though? Is it the most recent? Do you go with just a random?
Oh, you mean like if they have like 10 albums out, like,
yeah, how would you choose what to start with?
I'd probably start with their most recent.
Okay. Just
to see where they're at, and then kind of like go backwards and see where they came from.
Okay.
Because I guess in my mind is, if you're listening to their most recent and then you go backwards, like, my thing is you could hear how they progressed.
Yep.
Or if you start with the most recent album and then go to their first one and then kind of work your way up. It's also a matter of how, like, if mm-hmm. it's me coming across it, like, for example, Snarky Puppy, I brought it up on Apple Music, and then I kind of scrolled down just to see who they compared them with, and there was a couple mm-hmm. of other artists that came up, but I was like, oh, that looks cool. Like, I want to check them out. Then I can choose the album. But if someone said to me, like, kind of like what you did, you need to listen to this album,
mm-hmm.
then I'm going to listen to that album.
Right.
That's where I'm going to start.
Okay, cool.
But I'll listen to the whole thing. I think I'll listen to the whole, because I don't want to make it's like making a decision about a book based upon the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole thing. Like, I don't want to do that from one song.
Right.
I may hear that one song and be like, oh, it's not my favorite, but it may be the only one on the album that's not my favorite, even though it's still good.
Mm-hmm.
What about yourself?
I always go to a live album first. There's no surprise there.
Oh, that's true.
But I
remember, yeah.
I think that's, for me, the reason I do that is it's a couple of things. Typically, you'll have a lot of songs from different albums, so you get kind of a nice, I don't know. Ooh, there's a dog right there. Sorry, I didn't mean to bonk you on the head. So you get a nice kind of cross section of what they've done so far, and I can tell a lot by the group by how they play live and
sure,
So and I think there's a lot behind why they chose the songs and the songs they chose and how they play them, and to me that makes more difference than the studio album. And then I'll start exploring. I'll usually go to like Koba's or Rune. They both have the same basic descriptions, and see what sort of albums they talk about in there and what they say about the albums. And then whichever one strikes me is where I start.
That's interesting. So, have you ever come across a band or a group or anything where you didn't like them live, but you heard their studio stuff and you liked their studio stuff?
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I don't know.
I could see the reverse happening, like loving them live and not liking their recorded stuff. That I could because it may take away something from that experience.
Yeah.
But like I was talking, my grandfather, who's the opera singer, and when we spoke about it, he goes, I remember, when he was performing, you had some opera singers that live, they were powerful, they were beautiful, and they were this, but then they recorded, they just recorded poorly, and vice versa. You had some that were on stage that could not do it, but as soon as you got them into a recording studio, it was beautiful. And whether it was the production or it's just the fact that they didn't have enough power behind them or whatever the case would be. So I was always, I don't think I've come across anybody that's live that I don't like their studio.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting...
I can't think of any.
Now you have to think of it.
Yep. I think the only thing that would probably turn me off in that case would be a bad live recording, like quality-wise.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But
what about the what was it? Billy Strings, Brian Strings,
Billy Strings.
Billy Strings. That first album, that's not. We don't think that was a setup recording. Maybe they just has two mics and that was it.
But I like the recording.
Huh?
I like the album. So.
Right. So it's like, no, I get what you're saying though.
But I wouldn't call that a badly recorded album.
Okay, that's why. Yeah. Okay, so, fair enough.
I mean, it's not, perfect recorded album, but I mean, it's
not ideal.
Yeah.
But as a
but it's not someone who smuggled in a microphone and stuck it under their seat.
Right.
And you can hear like the shuffling of feet and stuff like it's not that, but yeah, I mean, it sounds okay.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, makes sense.
So what I did was I grabbed one song from each of their albums, and the way I did it was I listened to the first 10 seconds, and if I liked the 10 seconds, I put it on the list. So that's how I grabbed my list tonight. I didn't look at views, I didn't look at listens, I just grabbed it. There's one song on here that I know I've heard before, and we'll talk about that when we get to that one. But a little bit about the group. It's founded by a gentleman by the name of Michael League, who is a bass player, founded the group in 2004. And he said he founded the group because when he was in school, he was so bad he didn't place in any of the school ensembles. So Snarky Puppy was his way of getting to play with a band. That's why he formed it. They've had many different members over the years, over 40 of them. As of right now, only 6 of the original 10 remain in the group. And they've played with, tons of different people. They have several Grammys, 2014 Grammy for the song Something, which is the song that I know. And that was featuring the Layla Hathaway, who is the daughter of Donny Hathaway, a very famous singer who killed himself in the 70s, maybe?
I think it was the 70s, yeah.
I think it was the 70s. And if you remember, Donny Hathaway is going back to the book, The Spirit of Music. That's the album that Michael and Victor and Jonathan were listening to.
Right.
So that's Donny Hathaway. The really neat thing that they do is they do a lot of recordings with family and friends in the studio. And there are videos of them like in the studio with like 20 people there, all with headphones on, just listening to them play. So it's almost like a live concert on their studio albums, which is one of the reasons that I think I'm really going to get into them and like them, because they treat their studio albums as almost as live albums.
That's cool.
And you find that a lot with jazz groups too. They kind of, because of the improvisation. So they have 2 albums called Family Dinner Volumes. Those are artists that they're friends with that come and play on several songs. So like the Layla Hathaway one is on Family Friends Volume 1. Jeff Coffin's on an album. There was, I forget the other notable people, but we'll get to them maybe. But I think they've got 3 or 4 Grammys. Yeah, so we're going to start with an album in 2006 called The Only Constant. And what I've noticed about their songs so far is they start very subdued, and then they kind of pick it up in the middle. So first one is called Open Forum. It's very different than the stuff that we've been doing so far this season. We've been doing a lot of blues and a lot of like rock stuff, and like now we're really into like almost, I wouldn't say smooth jazz, but like kind of complicated jazz.
Yeah, I was gonna say like progressive jazz.
Yeah.
They're
Not so much fusion jazz, but more like progressive kind of. So, so the next album that came out was 2007. It's called The World Is Getting Smaller. This is called Phoebus. Just so much going on with all the different parts. There's, it almost sounds like there's no rhyme or reason to it all. And almost sounds like they're kind of figuring out as they're going along, too.
Yes.
I'm sure it's just a bunch of like grooves and just kind of charts. And it's like, all right, well, let's see what happens.
It feels like Corey Wong and Bella Fleck and the Flecktones had a baby.
Yes. Yep.
And they called it
That's
Snarky
a good
Puppy,
comparison.
right?
Yep.
Because it, like you said, it has that mixture, but then you have that. I just wanted to be like, okay, that's Bella Fleck. No, wait, that's Corey Wong. No, this is.
Yep. So 2008, this is called Bring Us the Bright, and the song is called Loose Screws. And I think I have a few of those. They're like a much funkier version of Spyro Gyra.
Yes. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
What they're doing and how well it comes together.
Yep. Yeah, they're all fantastic players, and if this Michael League guy is, was not a good bass player wherever he was, like, I want to hear the really good ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's holding everything together. you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, All right, then we came to 2010. This is Tell Your Friends. I did notice there is a definite sound change as we go along. So you can hear the shift in both the songwriting and the overall sound, especially in the keyboards. The keyboards really change over the years, which I guess is, testament to the technology that's changing.
Is it? I mean, that would have to do the research. I wonder if it's also the individuals changing within the group.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Slow Demon is next. Some of this even reminds me of Polyphia.
Oh yeah, it's got so much going on that I think you
Yeah.
could, and whether they're influenced or not, you could create.
Well, I mean, Polyphia would be influenced by them because this came out long before Polyphia.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, but what I think is very interesting, it's like a sitcom that has a cast of characters that are all different. Mm-hmm. Yet, but for some reason, they make it work.
Yeah.
And that's
It's like
what
Seinfeld.
Huh?
It's like Seinfeld or
Yeah,
Friends.
there's
Like just these like random characters, but somehow they all
Work.
live life together. And
Right. Right. It's like all their personalities are completely independent of each other, but they're and because that their music is independent of each other, but they bring it together.
Yep.
Very
Yep.
similar to what Victor Wooten wrote about.
Yeah.
You know, that whole
And how Bela Fleck designed the Flecktones.
right.
Bringing people that are just different together
Right.
to see what would happen. I chose this next one because of the title. This is Mr. Montauk. Just so much going on.
There is. There's so
All
many
right.
layers.
Yeah, so many layers. And I'm glad you said the word layers because we're going to go to the one song that I know called Something, and this features Layla Hathaway on the vocals. Layla can do something called polyphonic splitting. And this is a YouTube video that I'll put in the show notes in the description. The title of the video is called "You Can't Sing Two Notes at Once," but she can, and you're going to hear that in this. And watching the band react to her do this while recording is pretty wild. This is one of the ones that I mentioned, like they have like their friends in during the recording, so you can see a bunch of people just sitting around with headphones and listening. But this is called Something. This is off the album Family Dinner Volume 1, which came out in 2013. And I'm going to kind of move about halfway into the song so you can hear her doing her little scat singing and then eventually her polyphonic splitting. So that album won a Grammy in 2016 for Best Contemporary Instrumental Album. And that channel is one that we probably could have brought up last week. The guy's name is Jason Feeler. What he does is he finds really interesting musical things on YouTube and then transcribes them. So you can see the transcription of what she was actually singing, both rhythmically and melodically. And he does that with barbershop and a whole bunch of other things. So
she's got quite the vocal range.
Yeah, that was my next comment. Yeah, she went down to like a low G, I think, and then up to a high C. So that was, let's see, that's 1, 2.5 octaves.
I was going to say, yeah.
Just in like a minute and a half.
Yep.
So.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's something.
She's a good one. That is something. Yep. But she's got some good genes,
Oh, yeah.
The daughter of Donny Hathaway. I mean, he was a fantastic singer. So
she does an album with this guy called Joe Sample. Now, I'm not trying to sound funny. Like, I haven't heard his name before. I'm not saying I haven't heard it sing. Do you know who Joe Sample is?
Joe Dirt, yes, but not Joe Sample.
Doesn't help. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
All right. Shall we keep going?
Let's do it.
2014, this album is called We Like It Here, and the song is called Jambone. Oh no.
You did it.
I did it.
Did it.
That's what happens when I jump to YouTube. So as I was putting this together, this is around the time where I kind of noticed the shift from, excuse me. This is the time I noticed the shift of them going from, the where they started, which sounded like almost, oops, sorry, pause the music, which sounded more like random stuff to more structured, almost more planned out parts and stuff.
Okay.
So that's the shift, and I mean, they won a Grammy for the one before this, so maybe that's where they started to kind of find themselves. I don't know, and maybe making it more accessible kind of led them towards the Grammy thing. I don't know.
But you feel
from here on out, I feel like it's more structured.
okay.
But
Even going into the live album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know why I picked this one.
Can you please say the name of the song?
That's why I didn't want to pick this one.
No, you need to say it now.
Atchafalaya is what I'm going to say.
Atchafalaya.
Atchafalaya. I'm glad I looked at it again because I thought it was Octafalaya.
Oh, wow.
So
I want to see something now. It's a restaurant in New Orleans.
Okay. Interesting.
I wonder, how is it pronounced, though?
So here's my reasoning, and this is what my brain does sometimes. It's the Metropole Orchestra, and they're from are they from Denmark? I think they're from Denmark.
The Metropole?
Yeah.
I think so.
Somewhere over there.
Oh, it's actually a city in Louisiana.
Okay. See, I heard Metropole and I thought, oh, it's kind of probably close to German, so Octafalaya would be, Oct is 8 in German. So I kind of figured it was got something to do with 8 and
it's Atchafalaya.
Okay. I was close.
You were very close. Atchafalaya. It's got to be Creole.
Yeah.
That's what it's got. Oh, it's no. Okay. Excuse me. It is Atchafalaya. Atchafalaya is an American Indian word, so it's Native American.
Okay. Well,
that makes sense. What does it mean?
I was going to say it sounded like a delicious pastry, but I guess not.
It means long river.
Okay.
Huh.
Well, this is live featuring the Metropole Orchestra. Well, there's that definite New Orleans sound.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Yeah, starting off with a big old tuba solo.
Now, before we go to the next song, and I'm asking because I don't want to hear the next song and ask the question.
Okay.
Because you were listening and you say that there's a change,
mm-hmm.
I would think that because they're playing with an orchestra, there's a little more structure,
mm-hmm.
right? I mean, it's tough because the Metropole Orchestra is a hybrid orchestra, but
yep.
Do you feel that same consistency now in the next songs? So you don't think it's just a live thing?
If I remember correctly, yes.
Okay.
Yep. So, all right, grown folks, this is off of Culture Vulture. So here's what I mean by saying what I said. That was a good example. Like that one, like there were horn parts. Like they played unison together. They have the ones before they actually had like harmonies written for horn parts. The first few tracks that I played, there was so much counterpoint going on and everyone had their own different part. There was no real like that's a horn part. Like it was just individual horn people. If that makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. And you can hear that difference from Jambone into Uchafalaya. Mm-hmm. You can definitely hear that. And like you said, maybe they came into their own.
Yep.
And they found where their sound fit. Mm-hmm. Because they still have that randomness in there, but it's like a controlled chaos.
Right, exactly. All right, this next one is called I Remember. This is off of Family Dinner Volume 2. This is the second volume of Family Dinner where they invite people to come play with them. This one I picked because it's got Jeff Coffin on it. I love Jeff Coffin. Oh, twice.
It's kind of ironic because the song's called I Remember, and you can't remember how to turn on the music.
I can't remember a gosh darn thing. So let's try it again. All right, that was a really cool track.
That was a very cool track. If we wanted to book them, they're $40,000 to $75,000 to book.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. Maybe we can book him for the show.
Yeah, sure. I mean, at that price, we should book him twice.
I'm saying. We should start a GoFundMe to get them.
Oh, boy. This next album is called Immigrants. This is Bad Kids to the Back. What's really interesting about them, thinking about, going back to the book, The Music Lesson, I think it's really interesting. What they do really well is there's a lot of repetitive phrases, notes, rhythms that they loop.
Right.
They also have a really good sense of space.
Yes.
Especially like that one was a really good example where they kind of make room for other parts to kind of, and they're not afraid to leave that space even though there's nothing happening.
Right.
It would be interesting to take one of these pieces, I think, and use the, Victor's 10 things and like pick out the 10 things. Like if I were still teaching, that would be an exercise I would do with one of my students to pick out, a good example of notes and rhythm and tone, and
right,
because you can hear different tones of like the trumpet and like how the trumpet changes depending on how they're attacking the note and the articulation, and hearing. It's just a really good example of how all those 10 things fit into the same.
Oh, definitely.
Music.
And I'm gonna correct you. You made a mistake earlier.
What did I make? What did I screw up?
The song "Bad Kids to the Back" is off the album "Bad Kids to the Back." You read the next album.
I did.
It's okay. I'm just
poopy.
Listen. Can't be perfect all the time.
That's true. That's true. Wow, my list is wrong. Okay. Oh, good Lord. How am I going to say this one?
It's from
Zavi?
the movie Pandora. No,
Zavi, Xavi. Have no idea.
That's a good question. It's a name.
Yes, it's the name of the song.
No. I mean like a name of a person.
It could be Javi, I guess.
It is Chave.
Okay. That's another way.
Chave.
Okay, got it.
It's a Spanish. It's actually a Spanish name.
Okay.
Interesting.
Probably a version of Javier.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Based the way they phonetically spell it, that's what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to say it again because I'm going to mess it up.
All right, hear me out.
Yep.
Just go with me for a second.
Where are we going?
Mr. Bungle.
Okay.
I know they're a little bit harder when it comes to their music, but with what's going on, it almost gives me that kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Mr. Michael League is also in a group called Fork, Forq.
Interesting.
They
That
are
I
a
didn't
jazz
know.
fusion group.
Okay,
It's 4 people. Maybe something for us to look into.
sure.
But that song, it made me think of a Mr. Bungle album that I used to listen to. You know, and you know that album, you know them. They're like
Yeah.
off the wall crazy, but it works.
Yep.
They're like heavy metal.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right, last album. This is off of the album called Empire Central, which was a Grammy Award winner in 2023. And this is called Pineapple. And I chose that one because pineapples are delicious.
It was a delicious song.
It was. So that is Snarky Puppy in 50-something minutes.
I am a fan.
Cool.
I think I need to listen to their albums, like sit down and listen. You know? But there's so many musicians a part of the group that you can go down rabbit holes just for each individual musician.
And we might be going down that one of those rabbit holes next week.
I think so. But this is what it's about.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
Yep.
So,
So I've got on my list for next week is Corey Henry, who was one of the keyboard players.
yes,
from-
I was looking at that. That's awesome. That's very cool.
That's
And then
my
there's
plan
like
for
a bunch
next
of other ones, and we should, definitely probably go down a rabbit hole with it.
Yep.
So that being said, to listen to them in their entirety, you need to join us Sunday night at 7:30 live on Twitch. That's Eastern Standard Time. Kyle goes live on Friday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And just, hit that link in the show notes and follow us on our social media. Join us on Discord, all that good stuff.
Yep.
I think that's it.
That's all I got. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Turn on the Music podcast. Make sure you check our link tree in the show notes for our social media accounts. If you like what you heard, please share it with a friend. And we'd love it if you could give us a 5-star rating on your platform of choice. We'll see you next week. And remember, always share the music.
Thank you.